I used to have 5 anxiety attacks a day before I learned about mindset and human behavior. Now for the crazy part. I have been anxiety free since 2021. I live without any fear of anxiety returning. I don't take any medication. I'm not doing all the latest fads and things that are good for mental health and all that. I live my days without thinking about anxiety, without the stress, without the fear. This isn't a brag. This is a state that I arrived at by working on my mind. It is a state I've helped multiple of my coaching clients arrive at by working on their minds. And it is a state I hope to help you arrive at through this YouTube channel. If you're dealing with anxiety now and are looking to reclaim your power in that relationship, then stick around. I'm going to give you all the tools, the knowledge, and the wisdom you need to transform that relationship, to understand your anxiety, why it's occurring, what it's trying to tell you, how to better handle it, and then how to achieve a state where anxiety is no longer ruling your life or a consistent factor in your life. Once we've done that, you can continue your journey to self-mastery with this channel. I've got the tools to help you figure out what you want to do with your life, master your mind and master your life. Now, the 2 key important things in this lesson today is 1, your thoughts cannot physically hurt you. Number 2, you do not have to take your thoughts so seriously. It took me a long time to learn these 2 lessons, but when I finally did, it completely changed how I would react to my mind and how often anxiety would strike. Now, let's begin by exploring this idea of your thoughts can't physically hurt you. Okay, can your thoughts cause your heart rate to spike? Yes. Can they cause adrenaline to pump through your body? Yes. Can they cause a shortness of breath? Absolutely. But will these thoughts cause you actual physical danger? No. Our mind might trick ourselves into thinking we're in danger, but that is not the case. If we boil it down to its very, very core, anxiety is elevated heart rate, it is shortness of breath, it is feelings of adrenaline in the body. Once we recognize that that's all it is and that's all it will be, that you're not in any physical danger, the reaction begins to lessen. Now, the reason this is important to know is because it is often our response and our resistance to these feelings that causes all the mental noise. Your thoughts can create those feelings, but then it is your reaction that intensifies them. It is our resistance to things that brings about the very things that we're trying to resist in the first place. In psychology, they've labeled this idea as paradoxical intention, but let's just look at everyday examples. Well, I say every day, but I hope it's not every day. Remember those times when you're sneaking around the house, you're trying to be very, very quiet, and for some reason you feel like you make more noise than usual? This is that thing. Because you're trying so hard to be super, super quiet, you actually create the opposite effect. You actually create more noise than usual. Another example, just say there's someone that you really, really want to impress. So you really want to impress them. It's really important to you that they like you. So you act up, you act different to how you normally would. You come across as clingy, you come across as needy, and it makes them dislike you, it pushes them away. These are those things playing out. If I say don't think of a pink elephant, you're gonna think of a pink elephant. Why? Because the brain's stubborn, and because I'm telling you not to do it, that resistance makes your brain want to do it. Let's bring this back to anxiety. If I'm starting to get those uncomfortable feelings, the heart rate, the shortness of breath, the adrenaline, and I'm telling my brain, calm down, don't think about anxious thoughts, don't do this, the brain's going to go and do the very thing I'm trying to avoid. It's going to go into those anxious thoughts. I'll use a real life example from my experiences. Back before I reclaimed control over my anxiety, what would happen was I would see a sharp object in the room, an intrusive thought would pop into my head of, oh, that's something sharp, I can use that to hurt myself. Now, let's freeze frame there. So, an unwanted thought pops up in my head. That was fine. Nothing else had happened till this point. But then my reaction to that thought is what caused the anxiety. So what used to happen, and I was trapped in this cycle for years, was that thought would arise and my brain would go, that's a bad thought. Don't think that. Stop thinking about that. That's a terrible thing. Cue, increased heart rate, shortness of breath, release of adrenaline through my body. And then boom, brain noise and anxiety, and it just kicks off up there. This kept happening for 1.5 years until I realized that I don't have to take my thoughts so seriously. It's the resistance that's causing the very thing that I'm trying to avoid. So I made the change. I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna let the thought pop up. I'm gonna treat my thought as like a kid that's like a little 3-year-old kid that just needs attention. And it doesn't care what the attention looks like. It doesn't care if it's getting in trouble and that's the way it's getting attention. I realized that the thought can pop up. The thought can't hurt me. It can just do its little thing. So I let it pop up, I let it do its sing and dance and carry on, and then it just disappeared. This changed everything. I realized all of a sudden, my thoughts don't have the power. I give them the power by trying to resist them. Now, visualization you can use for this whole idea. Imagine you're sitting at a bus stop and there's a massive highway filled with buses driving past. Just because a bus pulls up at that bus stop does not mean you have to get on that bus. You can just wait there and let that bus go, because if that's not your bus, if that's not the right one for you, why would you get on it? Let it go and keep waiting for the bus that you want. Let's replace the buses with thoughts. Just because a thought pops up does not mean you have to entertain it. You can just let it go. You don't have to take it so seriously. What I then learned to do was laugh at myself. The silly thought would pop up. I'm like, it's crazy. I can't believe you thought that. That's silly. Have a chuckle. That's it. Not resisting it, not saying you shouldn't think that. Just let it go. Sitting in the bus stop, letting the buses go until a thought pops up that I was happy to entertain. When a thought popped up I was happy to get involved with, cool, get on that bus, see where it takes you. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. As long as your attention is going to try to resist the thoughts, try to avoid them, to try to push them away, you're going to attract that very thing you're trying to avoid. If from now on you just see those thoughts as little children trying to get your attention, you watch them carry on, do their song and dance, and don't give them your attention, you'll notice you're starting to get that power back in your relationship with anxiety. This is step one of the process. It is making you better equipped to handle it when it arises. Another thing you can do if you feel those feelings coming on, if you're feeling the shortness of breath, you've got the bus visualization. Another thing you can do to calm down the parasympathetic nervous system is a little breathing exercise. We'll do it right now. What you do is you sit with a nice straight back. You inhale through your nose, and then on the exhale, you hum. The reason why you hum is it allows you to really draw out the exhale. This is calming the parasympathetic nervous system and allowing you to get your breath back under control. So it's a slow, steady inhale. And you just let that hum drag on for as long as you can. Do 5, 6, 10 of those and you'll really notice the feelings calm down. Once again, these are tools in your tool belt to handle it. In the next couple of days, I'll put up the next video about understanding why it's occurring, what it is, and then how we can resolve it for good. If you're serious about truly mastering your anxiety, I also do have a free ebook called Rewiring Anxiety. You can click the link below, get access to that book, read through everything. That's a great resource to have along with these videos. Leave any comments down below or get in touch via email, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.